Hello, good afternoon, one and all. I have shared my screen also here. Please let me know. Are you getting my screen and voice here? Please reply in the chat box. Hello, all. Yes, are you getting my both screen and voice here? Okay. I got reply from Vaishali Sule. And before starting our today's lecture, first of all, yesterday I have given one tutorial, that is the tutorial number 2. Okay. And I asked you that you write the explanation for that tutorial, and that tutorial is based on the second chapter. Okay, so you have to write the answers on the paper, and you have to scan that paper, and you have to upload the on the given link. Okay, the link also I shared in WhatsApp group, but I got only 2 responses from both the divisions. Okay, why others have not why not submitted, I don't know. But once again, in this today's lecture, I am going to request you all to please see the question for the tutorial number 2, and write the explanation for the same tutorial, and you scan it, and you upload on the Google link. Okay, so that I am able to mark your attendance also. So this is my humble request to you all. You please submit the tutorial number 2 today only. That yesterday I have given you. And regarding the attendance, so many students are there, their attendance is 0 in the last 1 month. 0% attendance is there. Okay, so don't do this one. I am requesting you from this platform, so you all have to attend the lectures, tutorial sessions on the time, and don't miss even a single lecture and again a tutorial. Okay, so we'll start our today's lecture. And before starting this, one more thing I am going to miss here, that is about MCQ test. Okay, so I conducted the 2 MCQ class test for chapter 1 and again chapter 2nd. So many students have submitted the class test 1 and 2, and some are remaining. Okay, some means 5 to 10 students are remaining from each class. So once again, I request you all, you please go through the class test 1 and again the 2nd, and submit today only. Okay. This is my request for regarding tutorial number 2nd, and again class test 1 and again class test number 2 here. Okay. Now we'll come towards our chapter 3. And see, so before starting this lecture, so what we covered in the previous lecture, that we will see here. So we have started the 3rd chapter here. So the mining frequent patterns, association and correlations, basic and advanced concept. Okay, this is the name of the 3rd chapter. So in this chapter, basic concept, frequent atom set mining methods, which patterns are interesting, and again pattern evaluation methods. So from that first point already we have studied that basic concept. And in today's lecture, we are going to cover the frequent item set mining methods, and again which patterns are interesting. Okay, so these 2 points we are going to cover in today's lecture here. So we can see here, just we'll take the review. So what we have covered in the last lecture. So what is the frequent pattern analysis? So in that we have studied what is the pattern. So the meaning of the pattern is that a pattern is called as a set of items, subsequences, substructures that occurs frequently in a data here. Okay, that is called as the patterns. And what are the applications for this one? So the applications are for the basket data analysis, for the cross marketing, catalog design, cell campaign analysis, weblog analysis, and again the DNA sequence analysis. Okay. So why is frequent pattern mining important? So what is the importance of the frequent pattern mining? This also we have studied. And the next thing is that, so the basic concepts, that is the frequent patterns. So in that frequent patterns, we have studied the different definitions. So item set, key item set, absolute support, the relative count, and support, and again the confidence. Okay, what are the association rules? What is the closed patterns, max patterns? Okay, so all these points we have covered in the previous lecture. And now today's lecture we are going to cover the frequent item set mining methods here. So in that, what points we are going to study here? So there are different 4 points are there. That is scalable frequent item set mining methods. So all these 4 terms are there. So all these 4 terms are nothing but these are the frequent item set mining methods are there. Okay. So the first one is that the a priori, a candidate generation and test approach. So the meaning of the a priori is that the a priori nothing but it is the one scientist who worked in data mining methods here. Okay, so his methods we are going to agree here. Okay, so in that a priori method, candidate generation and a test approach. Okay, so this is the first method we are going to learn here. And second method is improving the efficiency of a priori. So whatever the problem we are going to face in this one, okay, that we are going to consider, that is about improving the efficiency of a priori. And FP growth, a frequent pattern growth approach. Okay, so what is the frequent pattern growth approach? That also we are going to cover in this one. And ECLAT, so frequent pattern mining with vertical data format. Okay. What are all these 4 methods are there that we will see here. Now you can consider the downward closure property and again the scalable mining methods. Okay, so the downward so the downward closure property and scalable mining methods. Okay, so this is the first property we are going to learn here. So what is the downward closure? And again, what are the different scalable mining methods are there, okay, that we are going to study here. So the first of all, you can see here the downward closure property. Okay, so the downward closure property we are going to define as the downward closure property of frequent patterns is that any subset of frequent item set must be frequent. Okay, that is called as the downward closure property. Suppose you are going to buy the frequently butter, diaper, and again the nuts. So the frequently you are going to buy this one, and again from this okay. Suppose for example, the frequently you are going to buy the set of butter, again the diaper, and again the nuts. Okay, so this is your frequent items which you are going to buy here, and so out of this frequent patterns, suppose you are going to buy the butter and again the diaper, and again the diaper and again the nuts. This also you are going to buy the frequently here. Okay, the any subset you can take. So sometimes what happen, the butter is in the stock in our home, so we need not to buy, but we are going to buy the diaper and again the nuts. Suppose the nuts are available in our home, so we are going to buy the only butter and a diaper here. Okay, means whatever your main set is there, out of that main set you are going to buy the some products here, that it is also we are going to consider as the downward closure property of frequent patterns here. Okay, so here example you can see that if butter, diaper, nuts is a frequent pattern, so is butter and again the diaper is also one frequent pattern. So it is defined as the downward closure property here. That is every transaction having butter, diaper, nuts also contains butter and a diaper here. Okay, so the scalable mining methods. So what is the scalable mining methods here? So three major approaches. There are three major approaches for the scalable mining methods. One is the a priori. It is defined in the Agarwal and Srikanth. And frequent pattern growth. So that is the FP growth. So what is the FP growth here? The FP growth is called as the frequent pattern growth here. And vertical data format approach. So these are the three major approaches are there for the a priori. Now, so what is the a priori? A candidate generation and test approach. So now here we are going to consider that. So what is the a priori? A candidate generation and again the test approach. So we see here, so what is the candidate generation? So in case of the a priori pruning principle, so what is the a priori pruning principle? If there is any item set which is infrequent, its superset should not be generated or tested. That is called as the a priori pruning principle. So the meaning of the a priori pruning principle is that if you are going to buy the infrequent item set, okay, infrequent item set is there, then its superset should not be generated or tested for the frequent patterns here. Okay, so the method is that initially scan database wants to get frequent one item set. Okay, generate the length, that is the k plus 1 candidate item sets from length k frequent item sets, and test the candidate against the database here, and terminate when no frequent or candidate set can be generated. Okay, if and only if the item sets are going to find frequently, then and then only we can go for the candidate set here. Okay, now here you can see that how the a priori algorithm is going to work. Okay, this is the one example of the a priori algorithm. So this is the database. Okay, so what is the database here? So the database is that the TID and again the items. So the TID is that 10, 20, 30, 40. So in that TID 10, we have the 3 items. In the TID 20, we have the 3 items. And again, the TID 30, we have the 4 items. And again, the TID 40, we have the 2 items here. Okay. So the TID 10, we have the ACD. TID 20, we have the BCE as items. TID 30, we have the items A, B, C, E. And again, the TID 40, we have the items B, E here. Okay. Now after that, we need to scan here. Okay. So how the a priori algorithm is going to work here. Now here we are going to buy here. We are going to scan here. Now here you can see the A, C, D, B, C, E, and again A, B, C, E, and again the B, E, it is there. Okay. Now we are going to scan this one. So this is the first scan. So the first scan, we are going to list out all the items here. Okay. So the item set is the A, it is there. Again, the B is there, C, it is there, and again the D is there, and again the E. Now here you can see that A, B, C, again the D, E. The only we have the 5 items, but the 5 items are a frequent pattern is there. Okay. Now here you can see that item set, and again it's a superset. Superset means you can see that occurrence for the occurrence of a item set. Okay, means how many times that item is frequently we are going to buy. Okay, that is called as the superset. Now here the item set A. Okay, the item set A, where it is there, the TID 10 and again the TID 30. So the superset is the 2. Now the item set B is there. So the item set B, where it is there, 20, 30, and again the 40. So the 3 times. And again the item set C. So this is the items set C is there. So this is also the 3 times. T10, again the T20, and again the 330. So this is the 3rd time. Again the D. Now here the D, there is only one occurrence is there for the T10. Okay, this is the superset is having the only one occurrence here. Now the item set E. So where is the item set E here? The item set E is there in the T20. Item set E is the T20, T30, and again the T40. So this is the 3rd time. Means in that way we have defined the item set in the first column, and again their superset in the second column here. So the A is the 2, B is 3, C is 3, and again the D is 1, and again E is the 3 here. So in that way we have calculated the item sets and again its superset. And D is having the lowest superset here. So there is an occurrence is the only 1. Now here you can forget about the D here because we cannot go for the superset for the item set here. Only we are going to consider the which patterns or which item sets are frequently we are going to buy here. Okay, that we need to find out here. That is our aim. Okay. Now you can go for the second. Okay, now we have deleted this one because for this superset we cannot do anything here because this pattern is not a frequent pattern. Okay, the D is not the frequent pattern. Now the more than one having the superset that we are going to consider, and which are having the only one superset here that we are going to discard here. Now, that is item set A, B, C, and again the E. So the occurrence is there, the 2, 3, 3, 3. So A is the 2, B is the 3, C is the 3, E is the 3. So in that way, we are going to consider as the scan 1. Now again for the scan 2 here. Now for the scan 2, what we are going to do here? Now we are going to consider as the combinations here. Okay. So the combination is that the first of all we are going to consider as the AC. So the items AC. Now here you can consider the first item as the A and C. And again the second item set we are going to consider as the B and C. Okay. And again, the third atom set we are going to consider as the BE. And again, the fourth atom set we are going to consider as the CE here. Now again, we are going to calculate its superset. So AC, where it is going to occur here? AC in the T10. Again, where is the AC in the T30? So the superset is the 2 here. And again the BC. So where is the BC in the T20 and again the T30? Again is having the superset 2 here. The next one again we have the BE. So where is the BE here? So the BE in the T30 and again the T40. So the BE, okay, T20, T30 and again the T40. So the superset is the 3 here. And again the atom set is the CE. So the C is in the T20 and again the C is in the T30 here. So these are the superset we have listed for the atom set. For AC, 2 superset. For the BC, 2. For the BE, 3. And again for the CE, 2 here. Okay. Means in that way we have gone for the next year. Now the every atom is frequently it is going to occur here. Now again we are going to change the second atoms here. So the atom set, suppose we have the atom sets are nothing but AB. Okay, this is the second scanner. So the AB and again the AC and again the AE, again the BC, again the BE, again the CE here. Now you can consider that for the AB, there is only one superset we are having. Where is the AB here? In the T30. Again the AC, so in the T10 and again the T30, two occurrence. In the AE, what is in the AE here? So in the AE we have the T30. Again the BC we have the 2 and again the BE we have the 3. For the CE we have the 2. So we have deleted this atom set for the AB and again for the AE because there is only one occurrence, because there is only one superset for that. And after deleting this one, we got the AC for 2, BC for 2, BE for 3 and again the CE for 2 here. Means in that way we are going to consider the item sets and again its superset. Okay. Now the third scanner. So what is the third scanner here? The third scan is that item set we are going to consider as the BCE. So what is the BCE? The BCE we have the T20 and again we have the T30. Okay, there is only two occurrences are there. Means we have the superset as the 2 here. Okay. So this is called as the a priori algorithm. Very, very interesting and very easy it is there. Okay. So the TID, see the once again I will explain you that. So how many scanners we have used here? The 3. Okay. 3 times we have gone for the scanning here. So this is the first scan, this is the second scan, and again this is the third scan here. Okay. So in the first scan, we have considered the item sets are A, B, C, D, E independent. And in the second scan, we have considered the item set as the A, B, A, C, A, E, A, B, C, B, E, C, E. So we got here this item set here and its superset. And the third item set, we have the BCE. So here we have taken the item set BC and again the superset to here. Okay. Now I give the time 2 minutes time to you all. You please note down this the a priori algorithm. Okay, very easy and a very interesting one. A priori algorithm. And I will give the along with the within that 2 minutes. I will also ask you that if you are having any doubt in this a priori algorithm, you please ask me here. Okay, you can unmute yourself and you can ask me the questions here. If you don't have any questions, then you please note down this. Okay, note down this example in your notebook here. Okay, so I will wait for you 2 minutes here. So welcome to back here. So we'll see the a priori algorithm. What is the pseudo code here? Okay. So the pseudo code is that the CK. So what is the CK here? The CK is nothing but the candidate item set of size K. Okay. And LK is that frequent item set of size K. That is the candidate item set of size K is called as the CK, and LK is nothing but the frequent item set of size K here. And yellow one is that. So what is the yellow one here? So the yellow one is frequent items, the list of frequent items. And here the for loop is that K is equal to 1. So the LK is not equal to the null, and again the K plus plus. So the do begin, and CK plus 1 is equal to candidates generated from LK. So for each transaction T in the database, do increment the count of all candidates in CK plus 1 that are contained in T. And LK plus 1 is equal to candidates in the CK plus 1 with minimum support. This is the end. So here you can see that. So what is the, these are the C1, L1, C2, and again the L2, and again the C3, and again the L3 here. Okay. Now finally we have stopped here. Like that, this algorithm is going to work here. So once again I will explain you this one. So the CK is nothing but it is the candidate item set of size K, and LK is that. So it is the frequent item set of size K. And the L1 is that the frequent items. So we are going to list out the frequent items here. So the list of items. In the previous example, what we have listed there, A, B, C, D, E, like that. And we are going to take the for loop. So in that for loop, K is equal to 1. This how many times the particular item set is going to occur, that we are going to count here. So the K is equal to 1. So up to the LK is equal to not equal to null. And K plus plus. So the do begins. So the CK plus 1 is equal to candidates generated from LK. So for each transaction T in the database, to increment the count of all candidates in CK plus 1 that are contained in T. The LK plus 1 is equal to candidates in CK plus 1 with minimum support. Okay. So in that way, this a priori algorithm is going to work here. So how the you are going to implement the a priori algorithm. Okay. So the implementation of this a priori algorithm is the very easy one. So how to generate the candidates here? So the step 1 is the self joining, and again the step 2 is the pruning method. And example of candidate generation, that is the L3 is equal to ABC, ABD, ACE, ACE, and again the BCD. So the self joining is that L1, L3 into L3. So it is called as the self joining. So ABCD from ABC and again ABD, ACDE from ACD and again ACE. And the pruning is that ACD is removed because AD is not in L3. Okay. So the C4 is equal to ABCD. Like that, this is the implementation of a priori algorithm. So this algorithm is the very, very easy one. So this is the implementation of algorithm, that is the a priori algorithm. So how to generate the candidates? So the step 1 is the self joining, that is the LK. And again, the step 2 is the pruning. So the example of candidate generation is that. So the L3 is equal to ABC, ABD, ACD, ACE, and again the BCD. So the self joining is that L3 into L3, ABCD from ABC and ABD, and ACDE from ACD and ACE. And pruning is that ACDE is removed because AD is not in L3. So that the final candidate C4 is equal to ABCD. So after that, nothing is there. Okay. So we need to stop here. That way you can implement the a priori algorithm here. Okay. Now how to count supports of candidates. So how to count the support of candidates here? Here you can see here. So why counting supports of candidates a problem? The total number of candidates can be very huge. This is the very simple candidates are there. Okay, you can see A, B, C, D, E. These are the very simple ones. Suppose if we are having the very huge number of candidates, then what we can do here? Okay, that is the problem of how to count supports of candidates here. Okay. So why counting supports of candidates a problem? Because the total number of candidates can be very huge. Okay, if suppose we have the more information, more candidates, then it is very difficult to identify the uh, frequent patterns here. Okay, and one transaction may contain many candidates. Okay, so the only one transaction, one database may contain the many candidates here. Okay, that is also very difficult. And for this purpose, we are going to use the different methods here. So what are the different methods? So the different methods are that candidate item sets are stored in a hash tree. So whatever the candidate items are there, these candidate item sets we are going to use the hash tree. So the hash tree is nothing but it is look like a binary tree. Okay, that is called as the hash tree here. And a leaf node. So what is the leaf node here? So the last element of a tree, that is called as the leaf node. So of hash tree contains a list of item sets and counts. Okay, the leaf node is going to contain is a list of item sets and counts here. And the interior node is the node between root to the leaf node. So it is going to contain a hash table and subset function. So what is the subset function here? So the subset functions are nothing but finds all the candidates contained in a transaction. That is called as the one example. It is there that I will explain you here. The once again. See, this is the very easiest method. So why counting supports of candidates a problem? Okay. So the total number of candidates can be very huge, and one transaction may contain many candidates here. Okay. And for achieving this, we have the different method. So that method is called as the hash tree. Okay. So why we are going to use the hash tree here? Because for storing the candidate items, we are going to use the hash tree here. Okay. And in that, the leaf nodes we are going to contain. So what is the contents of the leaf node here? So the leaf node of hash tree contains a list of item sets and counts. And the interior node, so the node between root and again the leaf node is going to contain a hash table and a subset function. So what is the subset function here? It finds all the candidates contained in a transaction here. Okay. Now here you can see this one example of the hash tree here, counting supports of candidates using hash tree here. So there is a one transaction. So that transaction is nothing but 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Okay. And here are the leaf nodes are there. So what are the leaf nodes here? So I will draw some, just okay. So here, so this is the leaf node. Okay. Again, this is the leaf node. Again, this is the leaf node. Again, this is the leaf node. This is also called as the leaf node. This is also called as the leaf node. This is the leaf node. This is the leaf node. How many leaf nodes are there? 1, 2, 3. Again, this is the 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 leaf nodes are there. And how many interior nodes are there? This is the 1, 2, 3. 3 interior nodes are there. Okay. So the leaf nodes are they are going to contain the list of item sets. Okay, here you can see that. Okay. So the leaf node it is going to contain the hash tree contains a list of item sets and counts here. Okay. So the whatever the leaf nodes are there, these leaf nodes they are going to contain the list of item sets here. So this leaf node is the list of atom set is the 1, 4, 5. This is the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is the 1, 3, 6. This is the 3, 4, 5. This is the 3, 5, 6, 3, 5, 7, 6, 8, 9. This leaf node is going to contain the 3, 6, 7, 3, 6, 8. Again, this is going to contain the 1, 5, 9. This is the 1, 2, 5, 4, 5, 8. This leaf node is going to contain the 1, 2, 4. This is the 4, 5, 7. This leaf node is going to contain the 1, 4, 5 here. Okay. Means in this transaction 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, all the leaf nodes they are going to contain the list of atom sets here. And whatever the interior nodes are there, these interior nodes is going to contain the hash table here. Means here this interior node is going to consider the 1 plus 2, 3, 5, 6. This also it is going to contain, this is the one interior and this is the second interior node. So that is called as the 1, 2 plus 3, 5, 6 here. And these are the subset functions. So what are the subset functions here? 1, 4, 7. And again the 2, 5, 8. And again here we have the 3, 6, 9. Okay. So all these are the called as the subset of functions here. Now, in that way, we are going to consider the hash table for the counting supports of candidates here. Okay. Here also I will give the 2 minutes time to you all. So please take down this example here in your notebook. Okay, this is the using hash tree. So how this hash tree is going to implement? By using the SQL. So we know about the SQL. The SQL is nothing but a structured query language. So the SQL implementation of candidate generation. Suppose the atoms in LK1 are listed in order. That is the step 1 is the self joining and insert into the CK. Select the items from the P dot item 1, P dot item 2, P dot item K minus 1 and again the Q dot item K minus 1. So from LK minus 1 P, comma LK minus 1 Q. So where is the P dot item 1 is equal to Q dot item 1 and P dot item K minus 2 is equal to Q dot item K minus 2 and P dot item K minus 1 is less than Q dot item K minus 1. And the pruning is that, so for all item sets, see in CK, do for all k minus 1 subsets yes of C. Do if yes is not in lk minus 1, then delete from C from a ck here. So it is the implementation of that a priori algorithm. Okay. So how the a priori algorithm is going to implement by using the SQL implementation. Now this is the first method we have covered, that is a priori candidate generation and test approach. The first method is over. Now the improving the efficiency of a priori. So how the efficiency you are going to improve here? So here you can see that the major computational challenges and improving a priori general ideas. Okay. So the first of all, we'll learn that, or we'll see that what is the major computational challenges here. So in this one, we have the multiple scans of transaction database. So multiple times we go for the scanning purpose. And second is that the huge number of candidates. So this is also one major computational challenge it is there. And third one is that the tedious workload of support counting for candidates here. Because many times I've told that there is a huge database is there. And day by day, seconds, every second we are going to generate the database. So it is the very difficult to scan the multiple times the database. It is difficult to identify the number of candidates, and it is difficult to identify the support counting for the candidates here. But this is the very big challenge. It is there in the data mining concept. Okay. So the major computational challenges are nothing but the multiple scans of transaction database, the huge number of candidates, and a tedious workload of support counting for the candidates here. And the next one, that the improving a priori general ideas. So how the efficiency of the a priori algorithm we are going to increase, that we are going to see here. And the general ideas are that reduce passes of transaction database scans. Okay. So we are going to reduce the passes of transaction database scans and shrink number of candidates. We need to shrink the number of candidates. And the third one is that the facilitate support counting of candidates. Okay. So these are the general ideas there for improving a priori performance. So we need to reduce the passes of transaction database scans and shrink the number of candidates here, and facilitate support counting of candidates. So these are the general ideas for improving the a priori algorithm of performance. Okay. Now the partition scan database only twice. Okay, we need to make the partitions here, and we can scan the database twice. So the any item set that is potentially frequent in database must be frequent in at least one of the partitions of the database here. So the scan one partition database and find local frequent patterns, and in the scan two consolidate global frequent patterns. So it is the written and developed by the Savasre, E. Omensky, and S. Navathi in the year of 1995. So here you can see that the database one is there. This database one plus database two. Number of databases are there. DBK is equal to DB here. Which in that way we can make the partitions of the database. That is the super one of I is less than the sigma of DB1. Superset 2 of I is less than sigma of DB2. Superset K of I is less than sigma DBK. So the superset of I is less than sigma database here. Which in that way you can make the partitions here. So the partitions are very easy. So the any item set that is potentially frequent in database, so we must be frequent in at least one of the partitions of a database here. For that purpose, we need to scan the database the two times, the partition database, and find the local frequent patterns. And in the scan two, we are going to consolidate global frequent patterns here. Now here you can start see. So how to reduce the number of candidates. So you are going to reduce the number of candidates here. So a k item set whose corresponding hashing bucket count is below the threshold cannot be frequent. Suppose the candidates A, B, C, D, E, it is there, and their hash entries we are going to consider A, B, A, D, A, E. Again the B, D, B, E, D. So these are the hash entries. And hash table we are going to consider. Suppose the count is the 35, 88 up to the 102. And the count for the 35 we have the item set A, B, A, D, A, E. Again for the 88 we have the B, D, B, E, D, E. Again for the last 102 we have the YZ, QS, and again the WT. So the frequent one item set is the ABD. Okay. What are the frequent item set one is there, that is called as the AB, and again the D and E. So these A, B, D, these are the frequent item set. Again and again it is going to occur here. The AB is not a candidate to item set if the sum of count of AB, AD, AE is below support a threshold here. This in that way also you can count the number of candidates, and we are going to reduce this one. So now this time is the 3:25. Okay, so what we learn in the today's lecture here. So in case of the today's lecture, we learn that a priori candidate generation and test approach, and the second one is that the improving the efficiency of a priori. Okay, so these are the major computational challenges. These are general ideas. Okay, so in that way we have learned in the today's lecture. Okay, so I think we will stop here before stopping the lecture. So please let me ask you that, is there any doubt here or is there any problem? Please reply me in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself. Please give the reply here. So you all, what is the today's attendance is the 22 students are there. So I am going to ask you all. So are you there? Are you listening my lecture? Hello all. Hello. Nobody is giving the reply here. So what should I understood here? You are there or you are not? You are listening, not listening? I just only logged in and hello all. Please reply in this chat box, or you can unmute yourself. So shall you stop here? Hello. So we shall stop here, and I request you all, please drop your attendance here in the chat box. So I request you all, please drop your attendance here. So I will mark your attendance for today's lecture, and I hope you all are doing the study or getting the placement. we'll end our today's lecture. So thank you one and all for patiently listening my lecture, and stay home, stay safe. So thank you one and all. We'll stop our lecture here.